China e-commerce giant Alibaba has posted better than expected earnings for the June quarter. It's benefited from the shift to online shopping and working because of the pandemic. It says domestic core commerce business has fully recovered to pre-COVID-19 levels. Revenue rose 34% to about 153 billion yuan, or $22 billion in Q1, on the back of its commerce and cloud computing businesses. Analysts had expected revenue of 148 billion yuan. Net income rose 124%. Now, for more on this, we're joined by David Kuo of the Smart Investor. David, good to have you on again. Firstly, your reactions to these results?
Pretty reassuring. I mean, when you have a look at this 700 billion yuan company, it is the barometer of the Chinese economy. And when you see the revenues growing and the profits growing, and more importantly, the net income margin, the profit margin that it makes, I mean, that was pretty strong at about 30%. I would say, on the whole, I am actually quite pleased with those numbers. But apart from that, it also picked up more users as well. So it means that as far as the pandemic is concerned, I think China can probably put it behind it now.
But Alibaba is also facing intense pressure in the China market from the likes of JD.com as well as Pinduoduo. What are its prospects, though?
Well, certainly, I mean, it's not a one-horse race as far as China is concerned. As you say, we've got JD.com and we've also got Pinduoduo as well. But these two companies are about 6 times smaller than Alibaba. So Alibaba is the gorilla as far as China is concerned in terms of e-commerce. So these two have some catching up to do. And what they're actually doing is that in the case of JD.com, they're focusing on things like supermarkets and groceries a bit more. And Pinduoduo is focusing on cheaper products in some of the areas that Alibaba is not focusing on itself. So what it really means is that consumers in China have a lot more choice now. So they not only have Alibaba, they certainly have JD.com, which, by the way, is 20% owned by Jardine Matheson. And Jardine Matheson, in turn, owns cold storage or dairy farm here in Singapore. So JD.com seems to be focusing a little bit more, as far as the e-commerce side is concerned, they're focusing a little bit more on groceries. And of course, they also have the gaming side. So I think China is big enough a country for all of these companies to play a part. And I think it's probably sort of healthy as far as Chinese consumers are concerned, Glenda.
Well, in recent weeks, we've seen TikTok get in the, or find itself in the crosshairs of US-China tensions. Is there any risk that Alibaba could also be a victim?
Oh, for sure, Steve. And I think, you know, this is the elephant in the room. What we've actually heard from the Trump administration is that they're not really just satisfied with going after ByteDance and even Tencent. I think they want to go after some of the other players. And certainly Alibaba is in the crosshairs. And the danger there, Steve, is that it's not the e-commerce side, because the e-commerce, as far as Alibaba is concerned, in America is only a very small part of its business. It doesn't even sort of include it in terms of its revenues. But where it is very important for Alibaba is in terms of cloud computing. And this is the part of Alibaba that is growing really quickly. I mean, we talk about the e-commerce side growing at a rapid rate of about sort of 30% a year, but it's really the cloud computing side, which is doubling every year. Now, if America or the Trump administration were to strangle Alibaba in terms of getting hold of components, and this is the part that people don't really sort of understand. When the Trump administration talks about transactions with Chinese tech companies, what exactly are they referring to? It hasn't really been made clear. But if they do strangle Alibaba in terms of getting hold of components to build out its web service, then of course this could be quite threatening to Alibaba. But we'll have to wait and see, particularly after these trade talks as well that are supposed to be resuming, where the Trump administration will be putting their crosshairs.
Oh, thank you so much for the analysis. David Kuo of The Smart Investor.